pleasure to be here today. Es un honor para mí estar acá sirviendo como maestra de ceremonia en este hermoso evento. Soy Josie González y nos estaremos viendo durante los próximos 2 días. The Hispanic Retail Chamber of Commerce was established to provide a dedicated platform for Hispanic retailers and businesses across the United States. Y hoy es un día especial, porque este es el primer evento que realiza la Cámara de manera independiente y además marca el inicio de 12 meses de trabajo con ustedes, con los asociados y con las personas que atenden a este evento el día de hoy. Así que pido un aplauso para ustedes el día de hoy. Sin más preámbulo, vamos a dar inicio a las conferencias y vamos a recibir a una empresa pionera y líder en soluciones de publicidad digital enfocada en el mercado hispano en los Estados Unidos, en Latinoamérica y en España. Fundada en el año 2010 y con sede en Miami, adsmovil se destaca como una empresa innovadora y en constante crecimiento. Así que pido un aplauso para recibir a Alberto Pardo.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos días a todos. It's a pleasure for me to be today here. I would like to thank you, Daniel and Julio, for the invitation today and for the opportunity to provide you or to give you a very interesting insight about what's going on with the retail industry and the advertisement industry in the world today. We strongly believe that digitalization is doing a tremendous change in the society and in the companies, and just what we call the retail media is one of those things that are happening now with the digitalization on the retailer. So I'm going to tell a little story about it. I'm not here to sell you adsmovil. I just want to sell you a very interesting message and tell you a story about what's going on with the retail media and how retailers can leverage that and how retailers could take advantage of this interesting business. So this is a little bit about adsmovil. I founded the company in 2010 in Colombia. I know there are a lot of Colombians here, so hello to everyone. Happy to see all Colombian faces here. But we serve 14 countries, and we are an advertisement technology company, and we build a retail media technology stack for retailers, so we let them to get introduced into the advertisement world. Just to give you an idea, in 2018, adsmovil launched what we call the first retail media model in Latin America with a company named Rappi, which is a last miler company originally from Colombia. They serve all the countries in Latin America and is the largest last mile company in South America. And we built the first media model with them. Basically what we offer, or what we talked to them back in 2018 is, guys, you have a very interesting data that every single marketer, every single CMO would like to have, or even every single data that they can use to serve ads to those people. And the reason of that is because Rappi has people that have bought a certain product. So what we offer to them is the ability to get that data from the retailer and make it happen as an advertisement. And that's how we created a product named Click to Rappi, which was the first, I will say, effort of retail media in Latin America. Since launching in 2018, our retail media business, of course, has expanded. And right now we collaborate with more than 30 plus retailers in Latin America, including Dia, which is today here. We serve Pharmacity, largest pharma chain in Argentina. And we also serve Farmatodo, which is the largest pharma and beauty chain in Colombia. And we serve HEB, which also has an important business here in the United States, serving the Hispanic community, and also from Mexico. We help them to monetize the big screens they have in the 14,000 places in Mexico, and some others. So basically what we do is we empower retailers with an end-to-end solution to launch, grow, and scale the retail media business, basically thinking on the future of the commerce business. And just to give you a quick view on the business, the retail media is seen as the third wave of advertisement. And this is not that I'm saying, this is everybody is looking at it. And the reason of that is because this graph basically shows the black part is the number of years that took the search industry, dominated by Google, to get from $0 to $30 billion. So it took Google 14 years to do that. After that, the gray one is the social wave, which is dominated by Facebook or Meta, and they took Meta 11 years. But the third wave, which is the retail media, it took 5 years from $1 billion to $30 billion industry, and is right now dominated by Amazon. And after Amazon, which was the company that discovered that, many retailers, especially in the US, have been following that path. Walmart, and I would say the brick and mortar, or Walmart is perhaps the largest media company in terms of retailers. They had revenues around $4 billion last year. I'm going to show an example in a couple of slides later. But this is exactly what the people is looking for. So Amazon launched its ad business in 2012. And basically what they did is trying to replicate what Google was doing. People getting through Amazon, and they just put in the search tool or the search box, whatever a keyword, and people is searching things or browsing to buy products. So there's an opportunity to put brands in front of the search or in front of the browsing history, trying to replicate the Google advertisement model, right? Amazon did last year almost $56 billion. I know it's very small compared to what they do in the e-commerce business, but the difference is that this money coming from advertisement, it's a very high profit margin, and that's exactly what it differs from the typical e-commerce business. And this is exactly what Amazon discovered and what Amazon is trying to do. Amazon is going to win the search engine business, which is around $140 billion only in the US, fully dominated by Google. But if you see this trend or this graph, what is happening is that the retail media, or the money coming from the search ad spending, is growing at a higher rate than the typical search engine money. And at some point, the retail media is going to surpass the non-retail media, which means, in other words, that Amazon will be the king of the searches at some point, maybe at the end of this decade. And this is for sure is going to happen. And why? And the reason of that is because since a couple of years ago, Amazon became the search tool #1 in the United States and in the world related to products. It means that people, right now, people is not using the Google search toolbox for search on products. They just go to Amazon, or they go to retailers, they go to supermarkets, and they just use their keyword tool to search for products, not Google anymore. And that's a potential opportunity to monetize that. That's how they discover that, and that's exactly the path and the way they see the business. So right now Amazon is today the #1 search engine. And retail media basically refers to any advertisement placed with a retailer digital or physical space. And this is very important. Retail media is not only digital. Retail media belongs to physical. And the reason of that is because retailers have a very important physical presence, and retail media connects on a very important way to the physical stores. So it's basically to influence customers at the point of purchase to buy a specific product by using advertisement. Couple of examples. This is a typical advertisement. I just want to illustrate you. This is, they put a search keyword, right, or repellent or whatever, and the first result is very simple. It's a promoted ads with products, and it said sponsor ads, and you basically, of course, are the first in the search list. Around 24% of the times people use this, they buy the product that is on the first row. So that's how important is becoming this type of advertisement for the retailers. Or even this one, even if you don't have a website, many retailers, even in the Hispanic space, maybe they don't have a very cool website or whatever, they can use screens as a way of trying to convince people at the point of purchase to buy a specific product. And this is what we call retail media. Retail media is going to grow. The industry says that by 2026, retail media will be almost 25% of the total ad spending in the United States. That means that it is going to become the largest format of advertisement in the United States, even bigger than TV, bigger than any other, bigger than social, and bigger, of course, than search, that today dominates the advertisement world. And this is going to happen with TV. Look, maybe this year in 2025, traditional TV is going to decrease, and retail media is going to gain that position. So imagine what is going to happen here, the opportunity that relies on retail media and the size of the industry that the retailers have there. So what's so good for advertisers? And this is a very, very good question about it. I mean, for the first time in advertisement history, it is possible to measure one by one the return on investment. And this is thanks to the data, thanks to the technology that you can implement, and this is only happening in retail media. The technology is relatively simple, but it lets you measure one by one who acquires or who went to the point of purchase or who bought the product on an online way. And this is because the technology basically could identify who was exposed to an advertisement, and after that, that person acquired or not the product. And this is the way it works. So it's the first time in reality that it happens. So it's clicking and it's making tic-tac to everyone in the industry, advertisement industry, because right now you can measure that. Remember that maybe, actually here, you guys that are some of you close to Coca-Cola, there was a Spaniard CEO, very famous, Goizueta, in the mid-90s, the guy that took Coca-Cola to the sky. The guy took Coca-Cola to China and to India and to everywhere. And I remember when I was doing my MBA here in the States, I heard he did a conversation. I don't know where I saw the guy, and he was mentioned that Coca-Cola at that moment was, I think, the first or the second largest advertiser in the world. And he mentioned that, and he said, you know what happened? That we know that we missed or we lost 50% of our advertisement spending. But he mentioned that was not the problem. The problem was he didn't know which 50% was the one that he was missing. And the reason for that is because every time you do advertisement on traditional media, it's impossible to measure return on a single, on a one-to-one. So you buy TV spots, you buy radio spots, and there's certainly people going to the point of purchase, but you cannot understand exactly what is the impact of each of the advertisement efforts that you do to the revenues that you get. And the world that the industry uses is what they call ROAS, which is return on advertisement spending. And this is right now like the new typical conversation way that they do. And this is the typical, this is a real reporting tool online, and they measure the ROAS and how much ad spend is and how much money is making this campaign, how many products, where are the locations that the people are looking. There are a lot of data that the brands and the advertisers are looking for, because the beauty of the retail media is that right now the brands are the owners of the insights and the owners of the data, so they can take better decisions. The second, retail media enables full visibility into the consumer journey, and this is very important because the consumer journey is fully fragmented in terms of media point of view. It is very difficult to understand what happened on a TV spot and how you connect that journey to someone that was exposed to a radio spot. Right now in the digital space, it doesn't matter the screen you see it. If you are using the data, you can understand the full journey of the users, so you can know the entire sales funnel, which is very important for the brands. And just changing the topic a little bit, what is so interesting for retailers? And I think that's a big question, because and actually I talk to a lot of retailers, and I have, I would say, different feelings about the business on retail media. Everybody totally understand that it's a huge opportunity. That's something for sure. And I'm going to explain you. I took this maybe a couple of weeks ago. Walmart disclosed the numbers of 2024, and I think they said almost a third of Walmart's profit now comes from selling ads. That's amazing. But they only sold $4 billion. So it's a big business, but relatively small compared to what they've sold. But it's a very profitably big business, right? Which is very important for the retailers, because the retail business is very, very low margin, and you guys all know that. So that's a very important point. Second, and most important, retail media boost foot traffic. And here are some friends from IGA that understand perfectly what I'm talking about. Foot traffic is very important to brick-and-mortar retail locations. So there's I would say, an obsession for the retailers to bring the people. And that's how retailers are basically defending itself from the Amazons of the world, or the online retailers. Bringing people to get a different experience, bring the people to the brick and mortar, bring the people here, because experience is much better than buying online for many people. And retail media helps to do that, which is very important. And today, in the US, almost every major retailer has developed an advertisement arm. And if you see many, I would say, categories, not only grocery retailers, but you see, of course, all the online, Amazon, eBay, Shopify, mass merchandise like Costco's, Nordstrom, Macy's, Target, Sam's, Dollar Tree, Dollar General. Every single day, someone in the United States launches a new retail media model. So that's like the new normal, getting into the retail media. Groceries, commerce, other like, Expedia, Marriott, MasterCard, every big company or every company that has data has the potential to develop an advertisement business. And the advertisement industry is very big. It's a $1 trillion industry. It's not a billion, it's a $1 trillion industry, which is, of course, a very attractive industry to serve. And retail media, by the way, is not really new. The thing is that it's been, thanks to digitalization, what we were doing in terms of marketing in the point of purchase in the past is basically the new retail media today. Everything that we remember, coupons, printed coupons, or many things that we did in the point of purchase to basically convince people to buy, are right now moving to digital. And when you go to digital, that's what we call the retail media industry. So now is the time, and this is the conclusion, now is the time for the Hispanic retailers to seize this opportunity. And my invitation here to all of you is to consider, if you are in the retail industry, if you guys are our retailers, to consider to participate on this important business. It is time to change the narrative. Of course, despite representing over 20% of the total population in the United States, not a single retail media initiative is fully dedicated to the Hispanic market. So that's the opportunity we see it, and the opportunity adsmovil wants to build here with you, the retailers. So the opportunity is wide open now. So let's lead the way together. We can build the first Hispanic focused retail media network and unlock a powerful advertisement market. Thank you very much and enjoy everybody. Muchas gracias.